Good morning, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to be starting our very own self-portraits based on the color of us and that book that we just read. So today you're going to get a couple things at your table. That's a piece of paper. Remember, you only get one, so make sure that you put your name on it. And also I always ask that you put your class code. So that's a K for kindergarten, and then whatever class you're in, if it's L for Lumen, if it's D for DeLucio, D for Drummond, or M for Mara, whatever it is, make sure you put your name. All right, then I'm going to flip my paper over, and we're going to draw a neck and a head. Now, we want to use our whole paper because I gave you a big piece of paper, so we don't want to draw teeny tiny. If you'd like to use the tracer to get an idea of how big your head and neck might be, that would be a good idea to use. Now, this is not to draw on or paint on. This is just to trace. So I'm going to hold it at the bottom of my paper, and I'm just going to hold it down with one hand and trace around it with the other. This is just going to give me that head shape and also my neck. That way I draw it big enough. After I trace it, I can put it back in my bin and I'll have my head and neck. Now if it looks a little funny, it's because I'm missing my chin. If you want to draw in your chin, you sure can. But today, we're mainly worried about mixing our paint. So today, I'm going to have a paint bar of all different colors that it's going to mix the color of your skin. So I want you all to look at the color of your skin and think about what color it is. No matter if you call yourself black or white, most of us aren't actually this color white, and nobody is really black. So I have these colors to mix to try to make our skin tone. That's called your tone of your skin. So for me, I'm going to look at mine, and I know that I'm going to use white to make it lighter, brown to make it darker, and these colors to make it a little bit in between, because I've got a little bit of red in there, a little bit of peachy or pinky. So I'm going to start by mixing my white on my palette. I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow in there. I'm moving from my light colors to my dark colors. That way my brush doesn't get too dirty, because we're not going to be using water today to clean them until the end. Just a little bit of red. Don't use too much red or you're going to end up pink. And a little bit of brown for my tan. So it's up to you based on your skin color. You might want to use more brown. You might want to use more white, but no matter what, I want you to try to mix your skin color until you get it just about right. So what I'm doing is I'm swirling my paintbrush around. What I'm not doing is any booty scooting, and that's when you smash your paintbrush down like that, because that makes a really yucky paintbrush and makes the hairs of your poor paintbrush fall out. So I'm nicely swirling. I'm keeping her on her tippy toes like a ballerina. Nobody wants to go to the booty scooting ballet, so don't do that. Keep her a ballerina on her tippy toes, swirling and twirling around your paint nicely. Once I get about the same color, then I'm going to say I'm good to go. I have my color there, and I have plenty of it to paint my face. So I'm just going to dip my paint in there. I'm going to keep my brush strokes nice and clean. No booty scooting across the paper. Keeping my paintbrush wet. If it starts to get scratchy, that means it's thirsty. We don't want any scratchy brush strokes, so that means you either need more paint or maybe we're going to need to dip it in a little bit of water. But we don't want too much water or your paper could actually rip. Now, I'm not worried about if you get a little bit outside of the lines. That's okay. We're going to eventually be cutting these self-portraits out. So don't worry about if you accidentally get some paint outside of your lines. That's okay. That's just a guide of how big we need to paint. So I've got a little bit outside my lines, that's okay. Don't forget about your neck. And you guys will be working on a messy mat. That's really important so that you don't get the paint all over the table. If you do, it's okay, we'll wipe it up with a sponge at the end. But make sure you're working on that messy mat. I didn't follow my own direction, oops. Also make sure you're wearing an apron. This paint is washable, but you want to make sure that you're protecting your clothes as best you can. Okay, once I'm all painted and I've got my skin color on there and I painted everything in nice and solid, no scratchy brush strokes. If I have a little spot up here, I'll go over that. Once I got my skin color right and it's all painted, I'm going to put it on the drying rack because I've got to let it dry before I can paint the eyes, the nose, the mouth, ears, all that stuff. We're going to do that next week. So today we're just making our skin color. All right, artists, ready to paint today. Have fun.